I'm here to say thank you to everyone. I reached affiliate after 5 streams. I'm so excited that now I can continue this wonderful journey with you guys. However, I sat down today and I realized I want to talk to you about how everything worked until now and how do I feel about this journey until now. This will be a more serious video and I hope you'll not mind. Enjoy! I'm a complainer, but not a quitter. Hi, I want to start this video in a very honest way, because I don't want anyone to misunderstand why I'm here or what this video is about. I complain a lot, but I don't quit, which means you're about to watch a video where I complain for a long time. This is not a tutorial, this is not a to do this and you'll succeed kind of video. This is more like, here is everything that went wrong and how I kept it going with duct tape and stubbornness. So if you're here for perfection, this is the wrong channel. If you're here for honesty and chaos, welcome! I'm here because I wanted someone like me to exist when I started. Someone who didn't grow up with technology, someone who isn't a native English speaker, someone who didn't understand half of what people were talking about, but still wanted to try. This is me talking about what happened behind the scenes from the moment I decided to try VTubing. And this is to the moment I actually went live. And everything that came after. I'm sharing this because when I started, I felt a little bit alone in the process. And I don't mean that I didn't have friends or I didn't have people to go to ask questions. I actually did. It was exactly the opposite. And I'm really incredibly grateful for the people who helped me. However, the reason I felt just a tiny bit alone is that, well, I'm a Romanian. Bish, I'm extremely independent. I don't like taking too much of others people's time. I don't like constantly asking questions, and I don't like feeling like I'm bothering someone even if they told me it's okay. So a lot of time, instead of asking, I try to figure things out on my own. We all do that. No? That meant watching tutorials, reading documentation, breaking things, fixing them, and sometimes panicking quietly. That being said, I did ask questions when I really needed to. I had friends who showed up for me, who helped me with troubleshoot, who explained things, who sat with me while I tried to fix the problems, and I'm genuinely grateful for them. And if I ever have the chance to point you towards these wonderful people, I will absolutely let you know. But I guess I wanted to sit down and just wanted to make you understand this part of me. Feeling alone doesn't always mean being abandoned. Sometimes it just means you're trying very hard to stand on your own. I watch videos, I tried to follow guides, but I didn't see the confusion, the doubt, the exhaustion, or the quiet moments where you basically wonder if you're just not built for this. So if you're watching this and you feel behind or confused or overwhelmed or like everyone else somehow knows what they're doing, please know this video is for you. Quick note for everyone, by the way. So my brain works in chapters as I have a love for books. So if I don't structure things like this, I will absolutely go on a side quest and never come back. Because first, it's easier for me. Second, it keeps my thoughts organized. Underneath this video, in the description, I will list each chapter title with a timestamp. So if there is a specific part you're interested in, feel free to skip directly to it. No judgment. Or maybe there is a little bit of a judgment. But I do that too sometimes. Alright, now let's actually get into it. Chapter 1, where I started and why this was hard for me. As I said previously, English is not my first language. I grew up in Romania, first in the countryside, then in a really small town. Technology was simply not part of my life growing up. I didn't grow up gaming. What I mean by that is basically when people say, I grew up gaming, I say, I grew up reading books and touching grass. A lot of grass. And when I say I had a laptop in college, I mean a microwave. Guys, you cannot understand. That thing could open PowerPoint, fry an egg if it was turned on more than 2 hours, and basically emotionally damage me. I was able to play one game on that microwave, and that was, I think, Alice's Madness, The Return, and that was enough to survive university, but not enough to explore. Because of that, my relationship with the internet was very limited. I was a consumer of content, not a creator. So yes, starting VTubing from this background, it's very ambitious. That's what I think. At the same time, because I didn't have access to technology, I had something else. I had time. I had time to read, time to imagine, time to think. I read fantasy books, self-development books, anything I could find basically. I spent a lot of time building myself and my confidence and my vision. Everything I learned about how to speak, how to behave, and how to exist as a person, I learned it from books, but I also learned it in Romanian. So that will be troublesome because now, later in life, I moved to the UK. And I didn't learn English in a traditional way. I learned it by watching videos, by listening to people, by copying, making mistakes, and correcting myself. I'm a visual learner, so I need to see things and to do things to understand them. Basically, now I'm learning how to match all the knowledge I have in Romanian into English. And VTubing does not make that easy. Chapter 2. Discovering VTubing and why this felt right for me. In my free time, I was watching YouTube, and that's when I discovered VTubers. At first, it wasn't about games. It was about storytelling, the characters, the lore, the drama. I looked at it and thought to myself, oh yes, this is my jam. This is my emotional support genre. And something inside me clicked. I remember thinking, this actually makes sense to me. Not because it was easy, but because it matched how my brain works. But I didn't rush. So I started writing ideas down for my lore, and I wrote my story in 2024, and I created some of my channels, and I adjusted it again in 2025. Anyhow, if you're curious about the lore, until I have the funds to make a lore video, you can drop on my Discord. I have the lore there. You can read it yourself. So, going back, I told myself, if I do this, I want it to feel right, not rushed. And waiting was hard, but it saved me later. Chapter 3. Research and the first real panic. Here is where the first real panic started. VTubing is research. Not the fun kind. Why is this tutorial from 2018 still recommended kind? And I realized very fast, I'm not an artist. I'm a woman with opinions and references. And I realized that if I tried to do everything myself, I would either burn out or never start. Commissioning artists sounded a bit simple and a better option until you realize you need references for everything. It's like character development, but make it expensive. That is the start of it. If you have a clear vision, it's not just a little research. It's a lot of research. Tutorials are outdated sometimes. Information is scattered and things change constantly. I had to learn about custom models, customizable models, free options, paid options, textures, toggles, assets, and commissions. By the way, if you want to see what are the available options or some tutorials on how to start with your models, my friend Zikos has a new tutorial just on that. So please feel free to visit his channel. I will tag him below. So I decided to commission artists, and nobody prepares you for this. You need to explain what's in your head, and that sometimes can be difficult. You need references for everything, you need patience, and you need to accept that artists are people, not machines. They have their own style and vision, so please be respectful and please be supportive, because they do something that you're not able to. What I've done, I made a budget carefully, maybe added a few zeros afterwards. Shh, don't tell anyone. I spent hours looking for small assets, PNGs, toggles, only to realize later they didn't match. There were moments where I thought, I've been working on this for months and I still haven't gone live yet. This is never gonna happen. And sometimes that little dark thought can put a brake to your pedal, so you will stop yourself from doing it. But as I said, I'm a complainer, not a quitter. Chapter 4. Discord and building community. Discord. Oh yes, Discord. You don't make a Discord server, you raise a Discord server. You need channels, you need permissions, you need rules, you need bots, you need roles, you need hidden areas, you need visible areas. You need to understand who sees what and when. Scheduling collabs became complicated very quickly. Discord timestamps saved me. This small detail actually helps you a lot when you organize a collab, because people can just hover over the text you embedded and they can see their own time zone when you organize the collab. And it's the same for confirming your channel details, like your schedule or anything like that. Guess what? I didn't know about that. That doesn't come with Discord. You have a web page that you have to research. But I had a really good friend who actually just messaged, was like, hey, do you know how to use this? You can find it here. Shout out to EP VTuber, by the way. He actually saved me with that one. At some point, I stared at my screen and thought, I did not sign up to be an IT department. And yet, here we are. It just takes time, patience, and several identity crises. And if you ever see a well-organized Discord server, please know that someone worked very hard on that. You can also commission other people to build a Discord server for it, but hey, we are talking about staying on a budget here. Chapter 5. OBS, audio, and feeling overwhelmed a little bit. Well, if you are following me on Twitter, you would know that prior to my debut, I was actually tweeting about fighting OBS. When you open it for the first time, you realize scenes, sources, layers, widgets, audio settings, and filters. To be fair with you, sounds and audio settings almost ended me. I tried filters, I tried external programs, some actually recommended by friends that worked for them. Thank you a bunch for that, by the way, Danny. The problem is, with all of this, my voice didn't sound like me anymore. At one point, my voice sounded like I was underwater, basically like I was in another dimension. I went back to the Shadow Realm and I was doing a transmission from there or something, I don't know. And the problem is, my PC is not really powerful. What I want to say is, basically, I gave up on perfection and I chose peace, because we love peace. I made the decision, I simplified. No filters, a slightly better microphone, everything controlled through OBS. Is it studio quality? No. Is it people can hear me? Yes. And that's a win for me. Also, bonus info. There was this small little thing that caused me a lot of confusion when I started streaming, and that is the audio source for Twitch alerts. At first, I couldn't hear my own alerts, but my viewers could hear them. When I changed the setting, I could hear the alerts, but my viewers couldn't hear them anymore. A friend of mine, Khaled, shout out to Khaled, he actually sent me a screen recorded for me to follow step by step. It's just a 2-click fix, but that threw me off so much. But there's a setting in OBS that allows the sound to be heard by the stream and heard by you in the headphones. If you don't enable that correctly, you miss the follows, you miss the redeems, and you panic. Again, a tiny checkbox, but nobody warned me about it. Chapter 6. Scuff follows me everywhere. I had so much Scuff since I started, and I swear to God, no one has this much Scuff. Now, I'm not talking about the usual, yes, I forgot to unmute myself when I come from be right back. So this is another thing that really surprised me when I started. You cannot properly test Twitch streams without actually going live. Unlike YouTube, Twitch doesn't have a true private test stream. You can test OBS locally by recording, check performance, and check drops, but you cannot fully test modal delay, audio balance, alert volume, chat interactions, tits, you know what I mean by tits, no, not these ones. Twitch integrated throwable system, you really rely on your viewers to tell you your mic is low, the game is loud, your model is lagging. Nothing prepared me for the fact that testing happens live. But it's okay, I handle it. You can prepare everything and still fail. Lobbies don't work all the time. People cannot join, and I'm talking about personal experiences. By the way, for the big collab we had on Sunday for Repo, I need to give a shout out to Nero, who saved the lobby by installing the correct mod, because mine failed me completely and I was late to my own stream by 30 minutes. At that moment, you're live. So you're smiling like, hey, everything is fine. While internally you are actually screaming in multiple languages because nothing works and you have too much Scuff. What I learned from this: start earlier than you think you need to, and also accept that something will still go wrong. Scuff is not actually a failure. Scuff, it's character development at this point. Chapter 7. A little bit about music, editing, and time. DMCA is confusing. Covers are not really safe all the time. Music often means subscriptions to things like Spotify or YouTube. Editing also have free softwares, but also for someone like me who prefers to use CapCut because it's a bit more intuitive for a beginner, you still have features that you cannot access until basically you have a subscription. So those are costs that you need to add to your monthly expenses. CapCut, it's something that I use to do my editing, and it's a good start for me because it's pretty intuitive. However, guys, I need to make you aware, there is a AI tool there for generating automatic captions that you can also edit afterwards. If you have a strong accent sometimes, that will not pick up the right words. So please be careful when you edit the captions afterwards, because I ended up at a certain point having, instead of storming Shana, I had storming China. So I had to fix it. And now, actually, I decided I will do them manually because I encounter a lot of trouble with fixing everything because it's not gonna show up properly. So AI tools exist, but they don't understand 100% VTubers. That's my feeling. And here, I actually want to take a moment to talk about AI, because this is something I've been thinking about a lot, and I want to be very clear that this is my personal opinion. From my point of view, I use AI like I use Google Translate or a dictionary. Not like create my entire personality. More like, please help me find this one single word before I lose my mind. And then I still change the word. I don't believe AI should replace real content creation. I don't believe it should replace skills like art or writing or creativity. And I don't believe it should replace the human part of what we do. For me, creation is about intention, about effort and learning, even when it's messy and when it's hard. That being said, I do believe AI can be useful as a tool, especially for people who struggle with specific areas. Like, for example, in my case, English. Because it's not my first language, again, we are turning back around to that. But most of the time, I don't struggle with ideas. I don't struggle with putting thoughts on paper, so I can do a full script on paper, especially if I have the time. If I sit down and write, I can do it on my own. Where I struggle is phrasing sometimes, because it doesn't sound really good. But it's also, I struggle sometimes when I'm under time pressure. So sometimes I know exactly what I want to say, but I simply cannot find the word. Or I can't rephrase a sentence in a way that feels natural. Or my brain just freezes for a moment because I'm stupid. In those moments, AI helps me unstuck myself. However, I don't ask it to create content for me. I don't ask it to write scripts or generate ideas from nothing. I use it the same way I would use a dictionary or Google search. And even then, I don't just copy what it gives me. I read it, I think about it, and I change it until it sounds like me. That part is important for me. If something doesn't sound like me, I don't use it. So for me, AI doesn't replace creativity. It supports accessibility. Access. You know, when you have access a lot easier to information, accessibility, you know what I mean. I think it helps people who struggle with wording, they get overwhelmed under time pressure, and I think that's okay. Additionally to that, I personally don't think AI generated shorts are a good idea, so I don't think that's a good tool. When I talk about the tool, I talk about something like ChatGPT maybe, but especially for VTubers, AI generated shorts, most of them limit you, if you go for a free one, to a 15-minute source of video to be edited, but all of them kind of require monthly subscription. That model just doesn't make sense. I know it's gonna earn you time, but also you're gonna lose a lot of money that you work for 9 to 6 every single day. I don't think it's worth it. And even after paying all that money, I assure you the results will not convey the message you want to convey. For VTubers in particular, there is another problem. AI doesn't know where to look. It doesn't know what part of the model matters. It doesn't know when expression changes are important. And it doesn't know when silence matters. It cuts randomly, it highlights the wrong moments, and often misses the entire point. This is just where I draw the line for myself. I'm too stubborn for that. I'd rather learn slowly than outsource my brain completely. If AI shorts work for you and you like them, that's okay. Everyone has different goals, budgets, and workflows. After everything, you're still not done. Chapter 8. So you stream. You went live, you had fun, you fixed the scuff, or you survived with the scuff. Then you closed everything, you saved everything, and then you edit. You edited, you fixed captions. Congratulations! You're not done. You need to think about titles, descriptions, tags, hashtags, and posting time. Suddenly, you're not a VTuber. You're a social media manager with no training and no benefits. Congratulations! Each platform works differently. Taking notes actually saved me, because if I don't write it down, it doesn't exist. And I'm still learning how to do all of this. If this part overwhelms you, you're not failing. You're just seeing the invisible work that goes behind it. So don't worry, take it step by step. You will have order in time. Quick note, and also chapter 9, I guess. If you're new to X or Twitter or whatever the name is, be careful. That's what I have to say. You'll get a lot of attention from artists. Most of them, they have good intention, they mean well, they just want to promote themselves. But you also need to know there are some of them that will push boundaries. I'm here to tell you, you are allowed to say no. Your pace matters. So don't be afraid of saying no. Just work with people, be polite, and reject them if you're not really happy about working with them. However, also make friends. Try to interact, reply to stuff. If you do this full time and you wanted to make it happen, you'll have to post daily almost on all social platforms, I think, or at least once every other day. But you can find some videos on YouTube in regards to that, so don't worry about it. I personally will not be able to do as many posts because, well, I'm a full-time employee. Chapter 11, I think. Is this 11? Twitch reality check. This is a chapter that basically I had to introduce this week. After I unlocked affiliate, I realized that affiliate unlocks things. Before that, patience is required. Starting with Twitch, it's actually a bit restrictive. If you ever planned using throwable system on your debut, learn from my mistake, don't. If you don't have claimable points on your account, maybe go for something like stream avatars. That's a better option. You also don't have emotes at the beginning. Some Twitch integrated systems simply do not work until you reach affiliate. Certain interactive chat rewards, channel points based interactions, they are locked. When I reached affiliate, which by the way happened in 5 streams, I'm incredibly grateful and I thank you all. I need to say, I suddenly unlocked an entire new layer of Twitch. Suddenly, Twitch is like, congrats, here's your paperwork. You don't get unlimited emotes, you get some emotes for your followers. Badges need multiple sizes because apparently one is never enough. Got it? And that's also when I realized how many extra steps were never explained properly. Because unlocking something doesn't mean it's automatically working. You still need to set it up correctly. Bonus info. You can skip this if you don't need it, but I want to give you a small insight on how channel point rewards actually work. The part I didn't know, actually. This is something I really want to explain, not as a tutorial, but as a behind-the-scenes reality check. When people say, oh, just make it a channel point reward, there are actually multiple steps. You can create them on Twitch itself. You have to go to create a dashboard, then viewer rewards, the channel points, then manage rewards, and then add new custom reward. Only after that, reward exists on Twitch and it's created, and you put the image and you set up the color and you put the title. After that, anything else can be connected with it. For example, toggles. If you want a toggle on your model to be claimable, you first create the custom reward on Twitch. You go into your VTube studio and link the exact reward name to the toggle. I found a tutorial at a certain point that had this little bit explained, and that saved me, but it took me hours of research. So if that helps, let me know. If you join my Discord server and you have a question and I know how to do it, I will jump in and show you. Chapter 12, models, tracking and limits. Tracking is not really plug in and play. You need a phone, a competent one, especially if you want good tracking, it's gonna be an iPhone. You also need apps. You need the VTube Studio, which you make a one-time purchase. You need VBridger, which you make a one-time purchase. VBridger is the one who's gonna connect your iFacial mocap to your VTube Studio. And that's the one who's gonna recognize your facial expressions, like this. The thing is, you also have sometimes small delays in your mouth tracking. And you need to go into your VTube Studio and you need to go and adjust parameters. But besides parameters, what I've learned is also you still need a mic-based mouth sync help. Try to synchronize your mic. If you're like me and you're a yapper and you talk a lot and fast, this is gonna help improving. Toggles need tools, tools need plugins, creativity meets limits, And it's fine, we're gonna figure it out. Chapter 13, Monetization and Systems. This is the chapter where things start feeling very real. Monetization is not just about money, it's about systems, rules, limits, and responsibilities. When I reached affiliate, I realized very quickly that Twitch doesn't just give you freedom, it gives you structure. You have to learn how to work within that structure. Moderation and bots and protecting your space. One of the first things I learned is that moderation is not optional. Even if you're small, and even if you're just starting, you need protection. These are bots whose entire job is to protect your chat from hate raids, spam bots, and fake accounts. For me, two bots become essential. One of them is Seribot, which helps with automatic moderation, and Nightbot, which is more focused on commands, shoutouts, links, and basic chat interaction. Nobody really prepares you for the fact that as a creator, you're also responsible for keeping your space safe, even if it grows. Another thing are ads, bits, and cheering, things that you don't fully control. Another surprise was ads. You don't fully control ads on Twitch, you manage them. For example, I chose to place ads during my starting soon segment so they don't interrupt gameplay or conversation, but it's still something that you need to think about, and it's something that I'm still researching. Then there are beats and cheers. These are forms of support, but they also come with alerts, sounds, visual feedback, which means, again, more setup, more testing, more balance. Emotes were another big surprise. When you reach affiliate, you don't suddenly get unlimited emotes. You start with 5 standard emotes for your followers and 5 standard emotes for your subscribers and another 7 animated emotes slots for your subscribers. If you already have some animated emotes, great, but you still need to feed them into Twitch systems. If you don't have animated emotes, that is one of my surprises that I learned. Twitch offers you an option to animate static PNGs. On top of that, badges seem simple. They're not. And you cannot just upload an image and be done. You need to think about how it looks next to the username, how it scales, and how it feels overall. Achievements, analytics, and the game side of Twitch. Yes, drama roll. Twitch runs on a progression system. You unlock things through achievements, analytics, milestones, affiliate, partner. For me, this isn't about cashing the highest rank. It's about building something sustainable, enjoyable, and honest. The reality check. Monetization is not just, oh cool, I can make money now. It's learning systems, managing expectations, understanding limits, protecting your space. It adds pressure and also adds a lot of responsibility. And it's okay if it takes you a little bit of more time to figure out. Nobody starts knowing this. Nobody does it perfectly. And if you're overwhelmed by this part, you're not failing. You're just learning how the system works. So keep it going. Before I end this video, I wanted to slow down for a moment and say something from the bottom of my heart. I am genuinely grateful for this journey so far. I am grateful for my friends, the ones who helped me troubleshoot when things broke, the ones who sat with me on Discord while I was panicking, the ones who reassured me when I thought I was doing everything wrong. I am really grateful for the people who showed up to my streams, for the people who followed, and for the people who stayed. Also incredibly excited for what's ahead. Not because I think everything will suddenly become easy, but because I know, deep down, this is something I truly wanted to do. And that makes all the difference. I made this video because I hope you can relate not just to the struggles, but to the mindset behind them. You can complain, you can feel frustrated, and you can feel tired, but you don't have to quit. You can be a complainer, not a quitter. Scuff will happen, breaks will happen, You will trip, and sometimes repeatedly. Here's the thing that really helped me put things into perspective. Once you're on the floor, you cannot really be lower than that. And that means the only direction left is up. So be yourself, don't panic, don't compare yourself too much, and grind. Not the grind in a toxic way, but the grind in a way you grind in a game. When you're looking for that one thing, you do it again and again and again. Each time you understand a little bit better the process. Each time you mess up a little bit less. And each time you grow. Nobody is perfect. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing from the beginning. I still have to research everything for a new video, for a new short, for a new cut, for a new idea. And I will keep doing it because I want to. Because this matters to me. If you're watching this and you're still struggling and you're stuck or you're feeling like you're doing everything wrong, please know this. You're not behind. You're not bad at things. You're just learning. And if I can help you in any way, even just by sharing my experience, I will do my best to be here for you. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being part of this journey. This is only the beginning for me. So if you want to walk this path together, you're more than welcome to stay around. No, it was to stick around? I don't know. Thank you anyway. Bye!